It's a race against time as state, House, and Senate leaders try to reach an agreement on a budget before the night ends. An update on their progress.
In an exclusive interview with WKYT, the mother of a 14-year-old investigators say was harassed and threatened by a classmate because of his race talks about how it affected their family.
Makes me cringe. It gives me cold chills.
Police went to a Kentucky home to serve a drug warrant, but what they say they found inside left neighbors in shock.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening to you. Time is quickly running out for Kentucky lawmakers. If they can't agree on a state budget tonight, they won't be able to pass one before the legislative session ends Friday.
But tonight, a source is telling us, WKYT, that they are very close to reaching an agreement. Garrett Weimer has been keeping an eye all night on the budget talks. He joins us live now from Frankfort with the breaking details. Garrett?
Well, a source tells us the two sides are close to a deal, and that's what the budget conference is discussing right now. That conference committee meeting was originally scheduled for 11 o'clock in the morning. It finally started just over an hour ago. Lawmakers were told spent much of the day, negotiating in private meetings. Lawmakers' deadline is tonight if they want to have the budget in time for both houses to vote on it Friday. Earlier this week, lawmakers pushed back the last day of the legislative session to Friday, the latest it can be, to give them more time to hammer out a deal. Lawmakers and staff told us throughout the day that they made progress in negotiations today, and all indications kind of all along heading into tonight were that lawmakers would not leave here tonight without something, and it sounds like we're getting closer to finding out what that is, but right now the budget conference is still going on. And I should note the House Majority Whip tweeted earlier tonight that they could be here as late as 3 o'clock a.m. Live inside the Capitol Annex, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Garrett, thank you. We'll have an update if we have something come across on WKYT.com, also in the morning news with Bill and Michelle. It has not really felt like spring at times the last few weeks, but that is really about to change.
Yeah, we saw warmer weather today, and temperatures will be even warmer as we head towards the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has your no-wait weather forecast.
Yeah, the numbers already climbing out there today. Many of us into the normal range for a change. Let's compare the temperatures now to this same point last night. 24 hours ago, we were roughly 9, 10, 11, 12 degrees colder into parts of central and eastern Kentucky. Most thermometers still 50 degrees or better late this evening. Cool spot into Maysville at 49. It's one of those evenings, if you have a little star action over top of you, some clear skies, you're close to 50. Some high clouds, you are into the mid and the upper 50s. Now, out and about tomorrow morning, it's not too bad at all. 40, maybe 45 degrees. Some of the colder valleys could briefly hit the upper 30s. How about your lunchtime temperature at 62 degrees? Now, tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, southern Kentucky, there's at least a chance for a stray shower with temperatures pressing closer to 70 degrees. Nothing locally as of now. Defender radar network picking up on a couple of very light showers. Nashville back toward the Memphis area and point southeast. Those are mainly moving off to our east, but a couple of those could kind of graze parts of southern Kentucky as we go into the afternoon and evening tomorrow. But from there, it is all about that weekend forecast as even warmer air surges into central and eastern Kentucky. Guys, coming up at 11:12, a new hour-by-hour forecast that may have you thinking the month of May. That's in a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. New tonight, the governor has signed a bill that creates one marriage license form for gay and straight couples in Kentucky. This new form will not have the name of the county clerk on it, and it will have the options of bride, groom, and spouse. The bill is in response to Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis, who refused to issue marriage licenses with her name on them to same-sex couples, citing her religious beliefs. Governor Bevin did veto some bills today, according to our news partners at the Herald Leader. Those include 2 mandatory expenditures from the judicial branch budget. That means courts will have more money. The governor also vetoed a bill that would have established a statewide Books for Brains program to hand out books to children. He said there was not enough money for it.
New tonight, a man faces charges after investigators say his car hit and killed a man while walking his dog in Whitley County. The crash happened late this afternoon on Highway 25 near Highland Park Drive in Williamsburg. Investigators say 53-year-old Richard Perkins was walking on the sidewalk when a car ran off the road and hit him. The coroner says he died at the scene. Williamsburg police say the driver of the car, Adam Childress, was taken to a hospital to be treated, but they say he'll be arrested and charged with murder. Police say he was intoxicated at the time of the crash. Investigators say the dog was injured but will survive. Today, the mother of a 14-year-old boy investigators say was harassed and threatened by another student at a school gave an exclusive television interview to WKYT. Denisha Vinegar says she had to take her son out of Lexington Catholic High School because she didn't feel safe sending him there. Police have charged a 17-year-old classmate in that case. Monique Blair is at the live desk with the exclusive. Monique.
Well, Amber, this afternoon, the attorney for Denisha Vinegar released a statement saying he is now representing a second black student who left Lexington Catholic High School after he says he was assaulted Monday by a white student. Tonight, I spoke with Denisha Vinegar, who explained to me the racial remarks made to her son.
And when I stumbled upon the messages, I was floored and I was scared.
Scared because the messages to Denisha Vinegar's 14-year-old son said things such as, "Do you know what lynch means? Lynch means I'm gonna hang you because you're black, and I just might. And I'll hire you to pick my cotton." Vinegar says she fears her son didn't come to her with the messages because he thought he was at.
So it kind of hurt me because I told him it's not okay for somebody to talk to you like that. And my child was scared to talk to me.
Vinegar says she contacted the school faculty, but at first she felt like the school didn't do anything about it.
When the child was still at the school, that's when I knew in my heart, I can't send my baby here. I can't do it.
The 17-year-old Lexington Catholic student who police say wrote these messages was charged last week with terroristic threatening and harassment. Vinegar says there have been some allegations made against her son, saying he initiated the threats.
After the tormenting for so long, my child did basically stand up for herself and say something to the tormentor, but he's not the aggressor.
Vinegar says what her son said to his aggressor was not threatening or racially motivated. Now, this afternoon, Lexington Catholic released a statement in response to the second student coming forward, saying no assault allegedly occurring on Monday was reported to school officials. The statement goes on to say, "We are saddened that without additional information, we cannot adequately investigate Monday's alleged incident." At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Monique, thank you. Vinegar says the student who was charged was not the only student who harassed her son. She says he was bullied by a different student while at football camp last summer.
New tonight, 3 people have been indicted for a string of crimes around Lexington the last 5 months. Benjamin Hunsinger, Jordan Gibson, and Candace Tulliver all face multiple charges, including burglary, receiving stolen property, and fraud. Investigators say the crimes included stealing cars and breaking into homes. Lexington police think this is part of a larger crime ring, and more arrests are possible.
New tonight, prosecutors say former Morgan County Judge Executive Tim Conley shouldn't be able to challenge his guilty plea and sentence in a corruption case. The Herald Leader reports prosecutors filed a motion this week arguing that Conley waived his right to an appeal. They want an appeals court to uphold that waiver. Conley is serving a more than 7-year federal sentence for corruption. He is scheduled to be released in 2021. Investigators say he rigged bids on Morgan County bridge projects and received kickbacks as the county recovered from a 2012 tornado. New tonight, the retrial of a man accused of killing 5 people in Leslie County has been delayed until next year. In 2004, police say Clayton Jackson killed Chris and Amanda Sturgill, then set their home on fire, which killed the couple's 3 children. A jury convicted Jackson of the children's deaths in 2011, but the state Supreme Court later threw out the conviction because a juror was a friend of the victim's brother. Jury selection for a new trial began this week, but court officials say after new motions were filed, the trial was delayed until next April.
New tonight, police in Louisville went to a home to serve a drug warrant, but instead They say they found 5 children living in filthy conditions. Police say that 40-year-old Stanley Brindley now faces multiple charges, including cultivating marijuana and wanton endangerment. Police say in Brindley's house they found the 5 children, ages 1 to 8, living among trash, uncapped needles, and mold. They say they also found 25 marijuana plants in the house, along with 21 firearms and more than 7,000 rounds of ammunition. Neighbors say they're in shock.
I knew there wasn't good things going just because of what the neighbors were saying, that there wasn't always good things going on back there. But to think that there was children back there just breaks my heart.
Police say Brindley has been convicted of growing marijuana before.
Today, President Obama stopped by CIA headquarters for a detailed briefing about the latest in the fight against the Islamic State. After meeting with his national security team, the president said the U.S. has momentum in the fight. Pentagon leaders say U.S. airstrikes have killed 25,000 ISIS fighters and helped Iraqi and Kurdish forces recapture 40% of the ground lost to ISIS. The president also said recent terror attacks around the world have made the U.S. and other nations more determined to defeat ISIS.
There's now less than a week to go until the New York primary, and tonight, new polls have been released for both the Democratic and Republican candidates. The update on that in 9 minutes.
And then police have charged a Lincoln County man with killing his dog, but he told us a different story from jail today.
It's time to wake up. You've got things to do, mouths to feed, work to get done. It's another Kentucky morning. And Kentucky mornings start here.
Good morning, I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith.
You don't have time to waste, so we don't waste your time. Simple as that. Breaking and overnight news, weather to plan your day, plus traffic you can take with you. Make WKYT This Morning part of your Kentucky morning. Weekdays from 4:30 to 7 on WKYT.
It's an all-systems-go weekend at Green's Toyota of Lexington during their 48-hour sales explosion. 0% financing on 10 different Toyota models. And up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Toyotas with their Green Saver coupon. This weekend only. Green's.
Alt Smoke Vapor Lounge specializes in a variety of electronic devices and refill liquids. Let our team of experts help customize your vaping experience. Stop in and see why we are Lexington's premier vape lounge. Touch, taste, and feel the difference with Alt Smoke.
The boot store is your work boot store. We have pull-on boots, lace-up boots, safety toe boots, waterproof boots, insulated boots, rubber boots, and electrical hazard boots. We have boots for the farmer, the rancher, the construction worker, the factory worker, the electrician, the plumber, and the boss. You will find an unmatched selection of work boots from Ariat, Justin, Thorogood, and Wolverine. We have the best selection of sizes and widths, and we know how to fit you. Get your boots at the boot store on Nicholasville Road.
At Hair Win, we've been helping people for 125 years.
If you've been injured in a life-changing accident, we can help.
Contact us at helpingkentucky.com.
Hair Win. Visit helpingkentucky.com.
It's an all-systems-go weekend at Green's Toyota of Lexington during their 48-hour sales explosion. 0% financing on 10 different Toyota models. And up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Toyotas with their Green Saver coupon. This weekend only. Green's.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on Rewind 105.5. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
We're putting the wraps on a very, and I mean very nice weather day across the Bluegrass State. Temperatures today around normal. What is that about? It's been forever. Seems like since we've had normal temperatures around here. Rolling into the last hour of the day, and those temps are into the upper 40s to low 50s across parts of the Bluegrass region, mid and upper 50s in the south where we have a little more in the way of some cloud cover. Milder air moving back into the Bluegrass State. That is topping the headlines. Now, there is a shower chance into some areas for tomorrow, and I say some, Tennessee border counties, I'm looking at you. For the most part, though, it's all about the warm-up for the weekend as things begin to turn a little on the warm side, courtesy of a big area of high pressure across the southeastern seaboard. You got to get back into the Rocky Mountains to find some cold. That's exactly how we like to see it, with the flow around here coming right out of the southwest, eventually late weekend and early next week when the thermometers really will begin to take off on us. Forecast as we go into the day tomorrow. Upper 30s to low 40s to begin the day. Southern Kentucky, you may be more 40 to 45 degrees. Tomorrow afternoon, if you can get any sunshine, southern parts of the area, you'll hit 70. Most areas should be within a degree or two, I think, of 70. That small chance for a shower. How about a Friday evening out on the town? Temperature's not bad. 62 before sunset, mid-50s coming up around 10, 11 o'clock or so. Defender Radar Network, nothing going on. Let's throw the clouds into the mix, and we're getting in on a little cloud cover into western and southern parts of the area. Here we go with a few scattered showers from Nashville back toward the Ozarks. The majority of the heavy rains are locked up across the Gulf of Mexico. So if you've got some family, some friends who are vacationing over the next couple of days, the next several days into parts of the deep south, maybe along the Gulf, southeastern seaboard, not going to be the best weather. As a matter of fact, they're going to have better weather into the Great Lakes than what we're going to be seeing across the deep south over the next few days, as the pattern is kind of flip-flopped in what you would expect. Warmer in the north, a little cooler to the south. Now, rains over the next few days, really few and far between across Kentucky. Notice how it is trying to pick up on maybe a 1/10 of an inch here from Monticello over toward the Middlesboro area as we go into especially tomorrow afternoon. Here's that new hour-by-hour forecast I promised. A few pockets of upper 30s will show up. A quick warm-up. Look at noontime tomorrow, 62 degrees. Notice those clouds across southern Kentucky, and a little green does begin to show up. But boy, oh boy, we may be mostly sunny across the northern half of the area with thermometers this close to 70 before the afternoon is through, if not right at 70. Tomorrow evening, we'll drop it into the low 50s. How about your Friday morning, starting out a little warmer now? Upper 40s to low 50s. Good shot, we hit the low 70s coming up Friday afternoon. Friday evening, 55, 56 degrees by 11 o'clock. Into Saturday morning, low 40s. Let's cue up the 70s again into parts of the area Saturday afternoon. Like I was talking earlier, and I've talked about for the past couple of days, we show you these hour-by-hour computer-generated forecast numbers, and one thing you can do is likely add a couple of degrees on top of what we are seeing for those forecast afternoon high temperatures. That's a good thing. Mainly dry over the next couple of days. We look at that weekend forecast. 74 on Saturday, 76 on Sunday, 78 Monday. Can we do 8? Okay, we'll stop at 78 for now for Monday, but I look at this 7-day pattern, and yes, there's a small chance for a shower tomorrow, maybe southeastern Kentucky Friday morning, and then again next Wednesday. But guys, I can't pinpoint any one day that would have anything greater than a 30 or 40% chance for a shower. That's a pretty good pattern.
You see how we're kind of stunned? We didn't know what to say to you?
I know, you're speechless. I'm used to bringing such bad news, right? This is a good-looking forecast, the best we've had so far this year.
It's nice to give you a break and not have to worry about it.
Right, and you know what? For that, I'm just going to take a 4-day weekend.
You can go home.
Yeah,
You're done now.
I'm
See you
done.
later.
Thanks,
Take care.
Bye, Chris. Some good news tonight for drivers heading north of Tennessee, how the trip just became a little quicker in 7 minutes.
And with that, it's a 4-0 score right here in the bottom of the 5th.
And that's all she wrote for the young lefty. Now it's in the hands of the bullpen, and out comes Papa John.
It looks like he's taking this official pizza thing pretty seriously.
Right now, for just $6.99 each, get 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas. That's 2 medium pizzas for just $6.99 each.
Papa John's, the official pizza of Major League Baseball.
Passion, personalized care, and a mission to serve women and families in Kentucky. We are Frontier Nursing University. Through distance education and clinicals in your own community, become a nurse midwife and share your passion for women and family care. Visit frontier.edu.
Thank you for the cereal.
The crayons made a big difference.
It may not seem like much to you,
but it means the world to us.
Kroger stores are increasing local community rewards donations to $3.6 million, and you can help decide where that money goes. Sign up at Kroger.com/community rewards and link your Plus card to the local group that matters most to you. When we all join together, there's nothing we can't do. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
We started with the class-leading RX. We gave it paddle shifters to help you command the road. A sport mode to help you control the road. And a sport-tuned suspension to help you connect with the road. The Lexus RX F-Sport. This is the RX Elevated. Lease the 2016 RX 350 for $419 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
You're gonna love what's new at Fazoli's, the Create Your Own Sampler.
you get 3 choices of Italian deliciousness from 12 Fazoli's favorites. That's over 250 combinations for just $6.99. Only at Fazoli's.
Toyota started with an idea, and Prius changed the world. That led to the family-size Highlander and a hybrid version of Camry, America's best-selling car. 2 more Prius models, a luxurious Avalon, and now the first-ever RAV4 hybrid sport utility and the midsize 4th-generation Prius, the most dynamic, most responsive Prius ever. Toyota hybrids, now with 7 to choose from, starting at just $23.95. Toyota, let's go places.
With just 6 days to go before the New York primary, new polls show that Donald Trump with a huge lead over his Republican rivals.
As for the Democrats, the same polls show Bernie Sanders is closing in on Hillary Clinton. Kenneth Craig has the latest from the campaigns.
Who wants to help Bernie win New York?
Thousands of people lined up to see Bernie Sanders speak at New York's Washington Square Park.
It's all catching on. It's just infectious. People are suddenly waking up.
A new Siena College poll shows Hillary Clinton holds a 10-point lead over Sanders in New York. He's closing the gap. She was up 21 points in March.
Bernie Sanders!
The Brooklyn-born senator brought out star power to entertain his hometown crowd.
Sanders believes the energy at these rallies is proof he's leading a political revolution.
We do not represent Wall Street. We do not want their money.
Clinton held an event uptown in the Bronx.
I'm so happy that we are raising the minimum wage in New York. I want to raise it across America.
On the Republican side, Donald Trump continued to rail on the GOP nominating process.
It's a rigged system, folks. The Republican system is a rigged system.
The head of the Republican National Committee said that is just not true. Ted Cruz mocked Trump's complaints.
He has been yelling and screaming and stomping his foot and an awful lot of wine.
The latest polls show Trump has more support than Cruz and John Kasich combined here in New York. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
Trump campaign officials confirmed tonight that his campaign manager will not be prosecuted for battery in connection with an incident involving a reporter in Florida last month. Tonight, a Lincoln County man now accused of killing his dog tells us it was just an accident. Investigators say Jasper Jesse's dog died after being stomped on. He's been charged with animal cruelty. Jesse says the dog started chewing and scratching on a chair, so he tried to move her. But moments later, he says the dog ended up under a recliner and died. From jail today, he told us he didn't know how to explain what happened.
They must have got a hold of rat poison or something, because, I mean, I was still stunned. I didn't really know what I'd say or do.
Police say the dog was taken to the UK vet lab and the cause of death was ruled as blunt force trauma. According to court records, Jesse admitted to police that he killed the dog in anger.
New tonight, drivers are now able to use both lanes of northbound Interstate 75 in northern Tennessee after a rock slide caused problems there more than a month ago. One northbound lane reopened south of Jellicoe a few weeks ago. Tonight, the Tennessee Department of Transportation says the other lane reopened. The rock slide damaged that stretch of I-75 in late February. Crews have been working since then to repair the damage and stabilize a nearby hill. So many people use I-75, of course, heading south or north, so that's good news.
Welcome news for sure. One of the top recruits in the country remains uncommitted.
Big man Marquise Bolden not saying where he's going yet, but how does it look for Kentucky? And another reason the Cats should be solid in the secondary this fall, Derek Beatty. That's next on WKYT.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 100.1 WKQQ.
Exciting, creative, edgy, fun. A career in cosmetology is always in style, and Barrett & Company School of Hair Design can help you be a part of it. Success begins with proper training. Make it happen at Barrett & Company. Call today and enroll in Barrett & Company.
Insurance companies demand prompt and full payment of your premiums. Shouldn't you receive prompt and full payment of your claims? When you don't, you know who to call. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
May 3rd and 4th, EKU Center for the Arts. Get tickets at EKUcenter.com.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. Follow WKYT on Twitter.
If you're looking for a career that is rewarding and always in style, start your training for a career in cosmetology at Barrett & Company. Day and night classes are enrolling, so begin your journey into a fashion-forward career in cosmetology and call today and enroll in Barrett & Company.
Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $80 million.
I love Spain. This food, the wine, the tapas. I want to stay here forever.
Well, we're not in Spain. We're home.
I know, but this food is so delicious.
Then it's like a Spaincation.
Head to Kroger for authentic recipes, specially imported foods, and delicious meal ideas at the Taste of Spain event.
Cook up fresh Perdue boneless chicken breasts for just $1.99 a pound. And sweet red, yellow, or orange bell peppers are now 10 for $10 at Kroger.
Welcome to Carpet One. Visit our area rug showroom featuring 400 room-size area rugs. While you're here, check out our in-stock rolls and remnants and save over 50% off carpet and vinyl. Carpet One has it all, and we have it in stock. Come see us.
On Tuesday, I buried my dentures under 23 tons of cement. And I really freaked out because I needed my mouth for a very important event. So I called Aspen Dental, got in right away, and they made my new choppers in just a few days. And thanks to that service, I'm happy to say I ate the most hot dogs in history today.
With dentures starting at just $3.99 and ready in days, not weeks. Dentistry's never been easier. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
Get your car looking brand new again at Jeff's Car Wash. Voted best in Lexington 20 years in a row. With plenty of options for any budget, Jeff's gives you the best car wash in town. Get wax and tire magic for just $12 with our exterior wash and go.
If you're in a car accident and searching for a lawyer, you need to ask that lawyer 3 questions. 1, have you practiced law in Kentucky your entire legal career? 2, have you recently tried a case in a Kentucky courtroom? And 3, have over a dozen of the nation's largest insurance companies retained you to try their cases? At Golden Law Office, we can answer yes to all these questions. Put our inside knowledge to work for you. Call us today for a free consultation.
One of the top remaining uncommitted players in the class of 2016 is Marquise Bolden. Where will he go? It is said to be down to Kentucky and Duke for the 6'10" big man out of DeSoto, Texas. Bolden played in the McDonald's All-American game with 4 UK signees. Now he's in New York for the Jordan Brand Classic Friday night. Bolden has said he would like to commit before his birthday, which is Sunday. He's now running out of time.
I feel like I'm coming to make the decision very soon. I mean, I kind of have to. It's getting close towards the end, so I mean, I have to make a decision soon. I try not to get a lot of people into the circle and into my support system and everything, so I really just listen to the people that have my best interests, which is my parents.
Now, that may not be the best news for Kentucky because it has been reported Bolden's family is leaning to Duke. But as of tonight, there is still no decision. Tubby Smith has emerged as the leading candidate to be the new coach at Memphis. Tubby led Texas Tech into the NCAA tournament last month in only his 3rd season in Lubbock. Memphis is looking for a replacement for Josh Pastner, who left for Georgia Tech. Perfect night for baseball and 2 teams going at it ranked tonight, and Kentucky and Louisville out at Cliff Hagan Stadium. Already leading 4-0, the Cardinals have the bases loaded. They add more. Drew Ellis, great night, double, gives U of L a 7-0 lead. Ellis with 5 RBIs. But UK chips away. Bottom of the 5th, Tristan Pompey singles into left. Luke Becker is held at 3rd before the left fielder airmails the throw. Becker scores 7-1 game. Later in the 5th, Storm Wilson with a bouncer up the middle. That will bring home Pompey, and it's 7-2 Cardinals. We move on to the 8th inning. Kentucky is down 7-4 at this point. Pinch hitter Dorian Hairston crushes one over the fence in right center. And as he rounds the bases, older brother talks trash on his younger brother here. Devin not amused, but His Cardinals would go on to get the win 9-6. Good night for the Hairston brothers. Kentucky softball coming off the sweep of LSU, hosting EKU. Colonels having a good season, taking the lead in the fourth. Hannah Clark's solo home run, 1-0 Eastern. Stayed that way until the bottom of the sixth inning. Abby Cheek going the opposite way for a go-ahead 2-run homer. Megan Prince pitched the last 3 innings, and she picks up the win tonight for the Cats, ending the game with the strikeout. Kentucky gets the win. It was 2-1. On to the major leagues. Reds and Cubs tonight at Wrigley. And after Cincinnati scored a run in the first inning, the Cubs went to work. Addison Russell, RBI single. He knocks in the 4th run of the inning for Chicago. Still in the first, pitcher John Lackey. Line drive into right. That scores another run. It was 5-1 Cubs. Alfredo Simon did not survive the first inning. Cubs had a couple more in the third. Jason Hayward with a base hit, scoring Miguel Montero and Jorge Soler. This one was over early. Cubs win it 9-2. Mark Stoops has experience in his defensive secondary. It has to be the most experienced group on his team. Included in that group is cornerback Derek Beatty out of Tampa, Florida. He came in last year as a true freshman, ended up starting 4 games. Beatty is big, 6'3". That has its advantage, but still, he has things that he has to focus on to be a good corner.
I focus a lot on my footwork, being tall. Like, they think tall corners don't have, good footwork and stuff. So I focus a lot on just making sure my footwork is right, and then, everything else will come, hand placement and being physical. I think that just comes natural.
Spring game, noon Saturday at Commonwealth Stadium. We'll be right back.
I love grocery shopping at Kroger, but sometimes life gets busy.
So I use ClickList. It's easy. I just order online. And with thousands of great items and fresh food to choose from,
I can get what I want the way I want it, then pick up my order at the store without ever leaving my car.
And for me, that's a game changer.
Order online, pick up curbside at store. We think you're gonna love ClickList. Try it now at Kroger.com/ClickList.
It was a routine call, a code 7 at a local laundromat. What we saw, well, nothing can prepare you for it. We went in, we approached the victim. He was dying of boredom. Agents of play, sir. We got there just in time. We handed him a scratch-off ticket and watched him play. Thank you. Have fun. I'm serious. His smile, well, that's the only thanks we needed. It's what being an agent of play is all about.
Put a little play in your day, week, month, or year with these exciting new scratch-offs from the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education.
Want to fill your garage with the best value brand in America that costs less than the competition? Honda's got it. During Honda's Dream Garage Sales Event, we designed 2016 Accords, the #1 selling sedan, just $199 a month. Or drive with 0 down, 0 security, and 0 first month's payment. Accords, available with Honda Lane Watch, Brake Assist, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and more. Just $199 a month or 0 due at signing. Honda's got it at your Central Kentucky Honda dealers.
At Hair Win, we've been helping people for 125 years.
If you've been injured in a life-changing accident, we can help.
Contact us at helpingkentucky.com.
Hair Win. Visit helpingkentucky.com.
What's your RAV4 for?
It's for getting places you could never get to before. It's for going out on the town in style. It's for your honey-do list. It's for 34 mpg in the new RAV4 Hybrid. How far will you take it? The 2016 Toyota RAV4 with available all-wheel drive and more technology and safety features. Lease a RAV4 LE now for just $199 a month, or this RAV4 Hybrid for only $229 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
If your home or business has suffered damages due to storms, fire, water, or theft, we have an experienced team that can help you with your insurance claim. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
With a heavy-duty welded steel deck and patented smooth track steering, the Hustler Raptor zero-turn mower doesn't play around. It's got the power to turn your weekend to-do list into your weekend to-done list. The legendary Hustler Raptor family starting at just $27.99. Tools, not toys.
Get your Hustler mower at Southern States Co-op of London and Valley Farm Equipment in Science Hill.
Outdated kitchen cabinets driving you mad? Lexington Express Cabinets is offering 10% off all cabinets on their already low warehouse prices. Stop in and browse from our showroom selection of premium cabinets. Don't let the clock run out. Get to Lexington Express Cabinets today, because Lexington Express does cabinets for less.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on Mix 94.5.
As we told you earlier, a source is telling WKYT that lawmakers are very close on reaching an agreement on a state budget. The budget conference is still meeting right now in Frankfurt. We'll have the very latest for you on WKYT News this morning with Bill and Michelle. And of course, you'll find updates on WKYT.com and the WKYT News app.
And as they're huddled in the Capitol overnight, weather will be improving as the day continues.
Yeah, we look good again as we go for our Thursday afternoon temperatures 65 to 70, all smiles.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.